Hey guys, so I want to show you another easy stitch to do on your loom. It is called the Purl Stitch. I want you to keep in mind that I have one loop already on my pegs and they're all positioned at the top of each peg. I am going to be working starting on my third peg because I have already done the first two. So what I'm going to do is take my working yarn and lay it underneath of that top loop on my peg that I'm working on. I'm going to use my needle tool, and this time I'm going to stick it up from above the loop and stick it down into it. And I'm going to tug it out a little bit so I have space. So now that I have created that space, I'm going to use my needle tool to scoop up my working yarn into that loop. So I simply go down, I'm going to turn my needle tool a little bit so I can scoop it up into the loop. And you can see there that I have created a new loop on that working yarn. Now you're going to take the loop that is on the peg and remove it from your peg. And now you're going to place the new loop that you created onto the peg. You'll probably hold it down a little bit with your other finger and tug lightly on that working yarn to secure the loop around your peg. Now that that peg is complete, you can move on to do your next peg. So let me show you again. You're just going to take your needle tool and place it down from the top into that loop. Pull it out a little bit and make sure your working yarn is laying across as best as you can under that peg. Use your needle tool to grab and scoop that working yarn up into the loop. You create a new loop. Take the existing loop off of the peg, replace it with the new loop that you created, and tug on your working yarn to secure it. You do not want it to be too tight. I know I talk a lot about tension in your projects because if it's too tight, then it's going to be really difficult when you go around the loom to do your next row, and that's when you're going to encounter some problems. So we do want it to be a little snug around your peg, but you do not want to pull it too tight. And real quick on this last peg I show you, I want to point out that instead of using my fingers to pull the existing loop off of the peg, I use my needle tool to do this. You can do it either way. I do think as a beginner, your fingers will give you a little more control, but feel free to use both ways or try both ways and see which one works best for you. Don't forget to hit like and follow if you enjoyed this tutorial and would like to see more.